Howdy, ho, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tuber. Welcome back. If this is your fourth, are we on the fourth? I think we're on the fourth. Fourth Walker Season 3 episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there. If you're unaware, this is being posted late at night, normally than our morning slots. It's because, once again, and I'll say this for the up to million time, BIOS is having an issue with Nexus Star, which is the current owners of the CW. There's some fee disputes, things are going on financially, so right now, for me, as a FiOS TV customer, I am not getting the CW in terms of his regular programming. So, as of right now, I am watching the episodes after words on the CW.com ad-free. So these episodes will now move over to nighttime. So they'll still be on its original post date as we announce them, but they'll be posted at night, or at least the latest as night can get. I'm trying to aim for 9:30 p.m. a little bit late today because I got busy with some stuff. Anywho, with that being said, going into this week's episode of Walker, focus and attention was mostly on Trey. This kind of felt like more like Trey's episode, as we kind of dive into like what is a post premiere storyline work, because like this kind of like the last few episodes kind of felt like a loose trilogy. Well, the first two being so closely together, and the third one was kind of like acting like an immediate epilogue of sorts. How do we remedy that? And this episode kind of like picks things up where it leaves out. Like the story's continuing now, but it's not really being like a direct continuation. We're kind of like, life's moving on, we got to move on to the next step. And this, honestly, the focus this week is on horses. I don't know why. Every storyline has had some mention of a horse at some point. It just, times are changing, so why not? Let's put some attention on horses, because guess the hell what? I don't know. It's just, all of a sudden, we just like, immediately the episode starts, and I just hear, actually, I'm going to get for the Butcher recap already. But overall, for me, I thought this episode was good. It definitely felt more like a classic Walker episode, which is kind of weird to say now that we're on the third season. It wasn't even... Earlier last year, we just became Walker. Now we're on season 3. If you were to tell me we would be on season 3 already, it's just... I'm getting old. I just turned 25. I'm getting old. I don't want to think about it. I'm not going to think about my age anymore. I'm not going to think about like how old things get or how fast time's moving. We're just going to go through the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. So we begin, we're in the middle of the night. We see a group of people in a kind of like a big ass van, a big ass stable van, talking about how like the horses are being mistreated, how, this is not the life they deserve. They need to be roam free. And then they start breaking into a local stable house, breaking the doors open, loading up the horses, all to the tune of, what was the song? It was such a classic song in my childhood. Well, not a classic song, but it was like really out there. Oh my God. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe they played that song. It's been so long. Oh, it's from the Arkham City launch trailer. There is no place for no heroes. And I was like, oh my God, that fucking song was just so, it worked so well in Batman Arkham City. Like here was like, it was kind of weird. It was just like more like a nostalgic throwback for me, if that makes any sense. But anywho, so they loaded the horses, they drive out to like some parts unknown, and then they leave them off into the wilderness. Again, one problem that these people might have, I'm 90% certain most of these horses were raised in-house, so I don't think they know exactly how outdoor living works. It's kind of like how like if you own a dog and a cat for so long and then you just throw them out into the wilderness, God forbid that ever happens, but they're not gonna survive out there because they're so accustomed to the house life. Like my cat will not survive in the wilderness because my cat's a house cat. He's just mostly dependent on his food being on the tray each and every day. So it doesn't make a lick of sense that they're doing that. But you know what? We need to have a villain for the episode, so an adversary for the week, not even a villain. So we need to set that up. We cut to the next morning. It's a brand new morning for the Walker household. For some reason, Grandpa Walker's making breakfast, which I've never seen before. Or maybe I have, and I just completely forgot about it. He's making some bacon, making some food for the family. A very small breakfast nook for them as everyone's kind of like, just figuring out what's next. And so Cordell's heading back off to work. First day back. Liam's about to begin some sort of weird horse therapy, which I'm like, well, last year I've heard of horse wrestling, but now I'm hearing of horse therapy. Well, so that's a new one. August is back to school today. First day back at school. It's everyone's first day for everything, except for poor old Stella, who is now, remember, she is taking a gap year. She's not going to college, and everyone's just kind of asking her, okay, what's your plan? What you gonna do? And she's like flabbergasted because like she doesn't really know what the hell she has to do. It's like, I didn't think about that, to be honest with you. And again, it honestly is the traditional, like, she was kind of expecting to, like, okay, my dad's gonna go to work, everyone's gonna do their thing, I'm just gonna be in my room on my phone, just kind of like, just chilling out, taking like a little mini vacation. I'm like, nah, sweetheart, no, you don't. Okay, okay, first of all, I apologize if I said it like that. I didn't mean it like that. I was on a good groove there. But no, like, in all seriousness, like, your parents are not just going to let you sit around and just do nothing for months and months on end while you're taking your gap year. You got to do something. At least I was expecting her to say, like, oh, I'm looking for a job. And she didn't even mention it. She just looked to Cordell and said, hey, we were going to look at stuff together, like, figure out what the next step is for me. I'm like, bro, your dad works a 9 to 6, not even a 9 to 6, like just an abnormal hour job. Like, do you really think he's gonna come back home and like really like think about what is my daughter gonna do? No, this is something you got to figure out on your own. Like, but Cordell is taking some initiative. He is actually jumping ahead a little bit, trying to help her out, and decides, you know what, I got an idea for you. Well, not really an idea. I already arranged this from you. You're gonna be a part-time waitress at the side stool, and Jerry's approved you some hours. So you're going to be working there at times when you're not here at the ranch, like literally eating up the electricity bill and eating up the food bill. And I feel so sorry for Stella. We'll get to more about her and like everyone else's reaction, because Walker's is basically destroying everyone's good moods today. August is grouchy that he doesn't have the big room, he doesn't have the car, he doesn't have anything right now. He's just the same old position, except his sister's not going to school with her. That's literally the only big difference here. Cordell also rejects Liam's proposal of like, let's talk about this. We need to talk about what happened, man. Go through this therapy session together as brother. He's like, nah, man, I got work to do. I gotta get back to work. And Stella obviously like, flabbergasted about the fact that like, yeah, her dad basically just got her a part-time job without her permission. And they're both looking at them like, they're just so sad. They're so beaten down. Like they don't want this this is not the life they picture. I can relate to Stella though, because I did take not a gap year. I took a gap semester once, and it fucking sucks. It does suck. Like, you feel like you should be in a certain position. And before I go any further, just because a lot of people do one thing doesn't mean that's the thing you have to do. If you don't want to go to college, that's perfectly fine. But it's like Cordell said, like, yeah, you got to be doing something in the meantime. Like, you can't just be sitting around all here not doing school stuff. Because everyone literally expected her not to be here anymore. Like, they just expected her to be off in college, and doing that sort of thing. But she's not. She's still at the house. But I feel for Stella. I look at her face and I'm just like, she is so depressed. She just literally went to depressed mode because she was just joking around with Liam and like, everyone just like everything's normal. But then that's the sad onset of adult reality. Like, nah, baby. Why do I keep saying that? No, that's not how it is. You're gonna work. You gotta do something productive. Let's just say that. Let's just wrap it up there. Cordell heads back to the station. Everyone greets him back with open arms. And also, this is Troy's last week. Thankfully, not his first day. Someone's got to not take a first day today. This is his last week of training before he officially becomes a Texas Ranger by this time next Monday. But before he could do that, considering the fact they expedited his process so quickly through the boot camp and just the requirements and everything, he's literally expedited this entire process for himself. But the only thing that he has left to do is like kind of do this like one big last case, ironically, that summarizes everything he needs to be doing in his training period before he can officially be assigned as a ranger. Which they decided to assign him the horse case, the horse kidnapping case. Which again, kind of for him, it's like, this seems simple enough, and he's like, nah, because guess what? Considering the fact that they attacked a federal-owned land at one of the sites they targeted, it's also an FBI investigation, so we gotta share a lot of the resources and evidence with them. So you'll be running point on that because cross-working with other departments or working with other entities is a pain in the ass. So. He's got his work cut out for him. But as a reward, he does get Walker, Cassie, and himself, James, to accompany him during this the investigation for kind of, inside peer conversation, and also just plain old judging, as always. So we arrive at the latest site. The FBI agents are already combing for the area. They're already testing out Trey, seeing how he's testing the waters, right? He seems to be doing fine. What Cordell notices, one of the FBI agents he decided to go and talk to for some information is a bit of a hard ass. He's a bit of a wall. He doesn't really give up that much information that quickly. And they just having a little reminiscence when Cordell was partners with James about how they had this bank robbery case I'm so sorry. I literally felt my tea being the perfect temp, and I had to take it. So they're reminiscing about an old case with this guy. He was a bit of a hard ass, but he was a force to be reckoned with. And to no surprise, Troy gets rejected. Does not get any sort of information out of him at all. But initially they're just laughing because they know about him, but they're like, Troy just assumes like, oh, this is like another test. Like, you're all doing this to mess with me. And they're like, no, we're not. We just know about this guy already. We know. But however, they decide, you know what? We're going to go back to plan A, which is we're going to stake out one of the stables that were not hit yet. And we should coordinate with FBI to see if we can do a mass stakeout to see if like any one of them shows up to any one of the sites, which is not a bad plan. So they decide to head that up and have basically a big old slumber party in, I guess, Cordell's van, Cordell's truck, I believe it is. I don't remember. Stella drops off, damn it, August to school, and August is a bit pretty much sad, because, like, you know, you being here ruins my junior year. I'm like, what the hell do you think your junior year was going to consist of, boy? That what, you were going to get the big room in the house, you were going to bring home all the police? Bitch, please. I remember back in the season one last episode, where literally, the girl you were pining after literally threw herself at you, and you rejected her. You rejected her. I will never forget that as long as this show still is on the air. I will never forget, my good sir. Never. Anywho, where was I going with that? Yeah, so, and obviously Stella still feels like, you know, a little bit like shit. Like, she goes off on him a little bit. Hey, look, I'm not having the best life right now. Like, you know, yeah, I'm not going to school, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I'm an 18-year-old. I recently just graduated high school. I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my life right now. I don't know what my dream job is supposed to be. And I'm not going to work part-time at a restaurant. So guess what? Shut up. Like, leave me alone. Leave me be. So she heads over to the side stool, ready to start her shift. Jerry's just noticing, like, yeah, I know you're not into it, but hey, you know, you got to be doing something. You'll make a little bit of money in the meantime. Again, no offense, 4 hours. Like, I'm assuming she's working 4 hours a day plus some on the weekend. So I'm saying like 25 hours. It's not a bad paycheck. It's better than my first job, where I literally worked in McDonald's for like a grand total of 4 months. And I only made like barely $400 by the end of it. I'm not lying about that. I have to recheck my pay stubs. I think that was around the thing. Yeah, 4 months for $400. Yeah, that literally was like, oof, that's not gonna do it for me, bro. That's just not gonna do it for me. Anywho, where do we pick up with that from? Where do we pick up? Because I think that was it. Yeah. Liam starts over at his horse training site. I know there's another the word, but guess what? I'm a dum. I don't remember this sort of stuff. And, you know, he's got a lot of negative energy on him, not because he hates people or anything, but he just has a lot of trauma over him. And, you know, the first step of, like, being able to ride a horse is to, like, be calm, be positive with your thoughts. And he's not succeeding in that. Like, there's, you know, even getting on the horse is, like, a big process enough for him to do. But this is definitely the help he needs, like, getting himself in the step in the right direction. Back over to late that night, Cordell and the others are like, you know, they've basically been there the entire night. No real leads, no real anything, nothing really substantial happened. So they kind of call it a quits for a night. But before that happens, Cordell is a bit weird in his turns of actions. Again, he's been having PTSD flashbacks to when he was in the army. Every time he sees a flag, or every time he's just thinking about something that's related to that time of his life. Cassie and James notice this as well, and even when they speak about it later, it's like, yeah, okay, again, at the end of the day, like, you're his partner right now. If he's gonna go to anyone to talk about this, it's you. So just be on the ready, be on the lookout. But we know Cordell already. Like, we definitely know he will come through if something happens. So him zoning out and everything is definitely not something that we're gonna have to worry about or anything. So we cut to the next day. I want to say. Yeah, so we got to the next day. Trey's been doing some research on the side, and he finds out that there's a little connection between when these robberies occur and to these nearby coffee shops, like coffee trucks, I believe that's what they call them. And there's always this like very big, stable-looking horse transport that's always outside of them. So Trey decides, you know what, it doesn't hurt to try. There's one more stable with one of those trucks nearby, so we should at least go check it out, at least like as a final, you know, resort, because we don't really have much else to do. So they approve it. They get the go-ahead. Trey's at the side. He confirms that, yeah, it's them. They have the horses. they're like, great, this is it. We're gonna make the arrest. We're gonna make this all happen. However, that's not as easy as it says because they need to be there on site. Trey is still a trainee, so he cannot give the authority to arrest them just quite yet. So they gotta wait for the others, but they're already like en route because they have to keep their distance and everything. They're about to leave and they're not even there yet. So Trey decides to like do the bullish move and like get inside the stable cart and just ride along with them wherever they go. Stella's still like not happy with her current predicament. She really isn't. Jerry's trying to make the best of her, not best of her, the best of her situation by just having her have a little bit of fun. Them reminiscing on like when Cordell, Hoyt, and Emily were all teenagers, crazy teenagers getting into antics. Once again, Stella's just surprised, like, oh, my mom was crazy as my dad and Hoyt. He's like, yeah, they were crazy. They were all crazy. Just your mom was not stupid enough to get caught. Which, again, we're going to get to that point in the show where we're going to get some sort of high school flashback. We're going to get that. We got, let's say, middle school era Walker. Then we have, recent Walker during the stakeout period. So we're going to get some, and now we're getting the Army Walker. Like, we're going to get some high school Walker at some point. Probably next year when, if we get season 4, when we get that, because most likely it's going to get renewed. When I believe August is in senior year, we'll probably get that out. That'll be the last opportunity we can get that for. But that's my prediction. No real, like, I'm just, I'm giving the writers advice. I'm just giving them here's what you could be doing. Take my advice and pay me. Yeah, but she's still like getting the idea of like, like, we didn't have our dream jobs picked out when we graduate high school. Your mom didn't have her dream job of being a social worker until later in life. So you're in no rush. Again, another thing is that you can spend your 20s. Okay, first of all, I don't even know why I'm getting to life advice. I'm only halfway through my 20s, so I'm like, I could have a completely different opinion of this when I turn 30, which I'm like, I don't even want to think about right now because I'm 25 years old. Okay, enough of the age talk. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I'm not. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's a reason why they say experiment in your 20s. Like, you can take any job you want. You can travel. You can go be with anyone you want to be because you're still figuring out stuff. Like, the more I think about it, like, the more when I was in my teens and my young adult period, like, I thought, like, oh, by the time I'm in my mid to high 20s, I need to have a stable job. I need to have the partner find out. So when I'm in my 30s, I can literally just go have the kids and have the house. That's not how it works. Like, my 20s still feel like I'm still figuring stuff out. I don't think I'll have that sort of, like, mentality figured out till I'm 30. And I always think that, oh, when you're 50 or 60, you're old as hell. You're done. Like, no, that's not how it is. Definitely, when you get older, when you get wiser. That's the point I'm trying to say. That's the point Jerry's trying to say. Like, don't worry about it. Your time will come. You will have the moment where, like, this is what I got to do. This is what I need to be doing. And then you'll have that period to do so. But she's not quite there yet. Yeah, so Trey arrives at the site where they're about to drop off the horses. They let them go. Trey, being the eyewitness here, has enough. He prematurely attempts to arrest them. He gets a couple of them, but one of them manages to escape on an RV. So Trey decides to follow suit on horse. And again, it's a pretty well done chase scene. It's pretty well done. Definitely with some twists and turns, and they eventually all meet up at a bridge side. And yeah, that's about it. And for a moment, James is about to chew out Trey for disobeying his direct orders. However, it's another one of his classic, like, got you moments where, like, he was, like, saying, like, this is unacceptable. This is, like, grounds for termination. Like, many other rookies have been washed out for, like, far less crimes than this. Like, you are absolutely in. Because Cordell and Cassie are the only other people who do this, and these are my top people. Which I'm like, damn, if you really think about it, like, your top people break the fucking rules of the people you're trying to run, so does it really say much about you yourself? But regardless, they're happy. Trey's in. He makes the final arrest, and, like, yeah, he's officially cleared to go to be an official Texas Ranger, which is exciting. I believe from there we go back to Liam. Liam's making some really good progress. Eventually, he gets the horse to trust him. He starts to feel better when he's riding the horse. He's slowly getting better, where he's taking those first steps. And then his trainer decides to tell him, "I'm leaving you." Yeah, she's moving away to another side. That's better for her and her horses. And Again, I feel so sorry for Liam. It's like he's just like so happy in the moment. Like, I'm making some legitimate process here, and then she just tells him, "I'm leaving. You have to go find a new therapist." And he's just looking at her. It's like, no, like we just started this. How are you gonna just leave me like that? Like, you give me a taste of the good stuff and you leave me. That sounds so wrong, but you know what I mean. You all know what I mean. It sucks, but you know, at least Liam is in the right headspace of like, this is where I need to go next. This is where I definitely need to go next. Cordell, for some reason, decides to bring back the horses they rescue, which I'm like, wait, they have owners. You don't really need to like keep them here. But yeah, you know what? Again, it is what it is. But they're not for the Walker Ranch. They are for Liam to help him with his therapy, help him do more recovery, even though he doesn't have a therapist anymore. And which is kind of a sweet gesture, a sweet sentiment for them, considering the fact they have yet to really address things. And finally, after all this time, Cordell finally said, "I will talk to you, Liam. I will help you through whatever you have questions for me about torture and the trauma behind it." And Liam's like, "Thank you, but I don't need you anymore," which I'm like, damn. Like, Liam just pulling out the big fuck you to Cordell right now. I'm just looking at Cordell's face as well. It's like, he's so flabbergasted. Like, earlier this morning, his dad was giving him slack for like, well, not slack, smack for like not helping his brother out sooner and, you know, all that sort. And now he finally has the balls to like say, "I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I will talk to you now." And he's just like, no. That was really well done. Really well done. And also, weird side note is that when they brought back in the horses, they were like, you know, like, well, Gail, I think, yeah, the D.A. Davison, she talked about, like, you know, opening up a horse center, like a horse relief center. I forgot what the terminology was. But, you know, and the way Stella was, like, talking about, it's like, hey, this could be my thing. Like, I want to help people. Let me help the horses. Let's start that program out. Give me something to do. Which I'm like, Stella, you're not getting out of working at the restaurant. You're going to be working at the restaurant. What are you doing? Do not get out of this. There's absolutely no way Cordell's going to take out another side venture just for you to have some sort of, like, activity to do when you're not in school. Not going to happen. If it does happen, okay, I lose. Nothing I can do about that front. Anywho, yeah, and then I want to say we head back to the station where Cordell's just still pondering at his desk, and, you know, Cassie just initially assumes, like, "Oh, you miss me. You just wanted to wait for my company." And he's like, "No," it's like, "You're right. You and James were right. You both had reason to suspect. I haven't been myself lately. Now that I've been back on duty, like, there's just something wrong with me." And it's like, it's not related to the whole kidnapping or the torture thing that happened earlier this summer. It wasn't that at all. It's because afterwards, I keep remembering about when I was in the Army, and not the Army or the Marines, I forgot which one he was in, but when he was in service, and he had this mentor, this best friend that, you know, he taught him so much of what he is today, and then one day he just died on duty, and Cordell's just never really moved on from it. So once that happened and he got out of it, he just left the Army, went back home, and just never talked about it again. I'm pretty sure he told Emily, but he never told his family about it. So, and Cassie being the only one who now knows about his predicament and knowing about it, she feels honored the fact that, like, yeah, like, my partners told me something very exclusively to me to prove that, like, yeah, he always is going to have my back no matter how much I question if he truly is okay. Which it is a sweet gestament. It is pretty sweet. And, you know, it just shows them, like, they haven't even hit a whole season's worth of, you know, interactions yet, but you can just feel like, yeah, these two just complement each other. They just work together as partners. So it's great to see. It's great to witness that happening. And as a sign of, like, you know, trying to, like, fix himself and trying to, like, you know, maybe take a positive step into, like, you know, maybe getting past these trauma points, he goes to visit the mom of his mentor that he never got a chance to really visit her before. But she's not feeling well. She's not feeling ill, but the nurse decides to go get her either way. Cordell's there. He's just waiting for her to come down so he can have the conversation with her. But he looks at pictures of his former friend, and more of the flashbacks start setting in, which we realize, like, there's more trauma down there that we know about. So he was going to bring the flag as, like, a peace offering, kind of like, you know, this is what your son would have wanted you to have, a piece of him. And he doesn't want to have that interaction right now, so he leaves the flag there and just leaves no words stated. And he lies to Cassie saying that, like, yeah, it was good. It was a good moment. Like, it was a good talk. And it's like, yeah, you didn't talk to her for shit. Man, stop lying to yourself. But again, there's still, like, this sort of thing doesn't go away overnight. This thing doesn't get solved pretty easily. So they'll eventually rectify this in the future. But right now, that was it for this week's episode of Walker. But wait, I forgot about one more thing. Stella decides to give August a little taste of his own medicine by trying to teach him how to ride stick. And spoilers, he sucks. And that's how the episode ends. Oh, boy. But again, I think this episode was pretty good. I think this was a very chill, very, like, a regular episode of Walker. Loving the focus that, Trey's inching closer to him being a Texas Ranger. That I can't wait to see him actually fully geared up, hopefully next week, and see him in action. Seeing Cordell and Liam take care of, like, their own trauma right now in their own ways and their own methods very clearly right now, trying to figure out how do you get past this, how do you get through this. There's a lot for them to still unravel. This definitely is just the beginning of their recovery roads. This isn't something that, like, goes away, like, in an episode or two, which honestly, I'm really curious to see how they're going to tackle the story. I'm really curious. There's a reason why this is the darkest season yet, so we have to wait and see. Stella was the funniest point of the episode. Just her, like, dealing with, like, the reality of, like, yeah, adulting is hard. Adulting is, like, not as easy as you think. Like, you can't just, like, sit around anymore and just, like, it's your weekend and you just can sit down now. Those days are over. Those days are long over. It sucks, but, at the end of the day, it is what it is by that point. But overall, yeah, like, again, this was more also, again, another character relations episode, seeing Stella bond even more with Jerry. Trey fitting in with the rest of the Rangers, and it's all good time. It's all good time when people are, like, bonding and, like, having some fun stuff over. And yes, protect the horses. I don't know where I'm going with that statement, but I just wanted to say it. Anywho, with that being said, I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. I really recommend it, really liked it a lot, and I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this week's episode of Walker? Let's start a conversation down below. I would love to talk to y'all. But I believe that's going to do it for me. So if you're unaware, this has been What's in the Tube from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 3rd season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's in the Tube beside our Walker episode reviews, we're doing Walker Independence episode review. We're doing the Rookie episode reviews, the Rookie Feds episode reviews, and DC Stargirl episode reviews each and every week at the brand news on the CW or ABC. But if you don't care about Walker, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review for you to enjoy on. So stay tuned for them. But again, this has been What's the Tube from ActionX. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos. Ring that bell for notification when our next episode review is live. Please also follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates we may have for either of our channel. And also ring that bell. But until we see each other again, for all you Texas Rangers out there, I'll see y'all next week. But until then, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.